Today we're going to do the big shirt. Starting before even 2017, the big shirt started into fashion, and it was women wearing their boyfriend's shirts. But it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's a good way to do it and a really not good way to do it. So today we're going to show you all the great parts. So you can do your very own big shirt and do it great. All right, let's do it. We're going to start with pattern 600. It's our classic blouse. And the good news is many of you have it, many of you have fitted it, many of you love it, and we're just going to contemporize it up just a little bit. I don't think that's a word. But anyway, let's talk about fabrics first. Because it is a big shirt, because it is in tradition taken from the man, it's like the old boyfriend jacket, but it's just a shirt. I would recommend you use fabrics that are, either masculine or feminine. So basically, a shirting fabric works really good. We've got some really great ones from Theory. The one I have on is 1866, the fabric number. This one is 1888. It's white. So these work really well. It's not to say you couldn't do a floral. You can do anything you want. It just might change the look a little bit, and that's, the greatest thing about sewing is it's your shirt and you're the one who's going to wear it. Okay, but I love this one. This is a Donna Karan. This is a cotton. And I love the texture on this. I just fell in love with it. So I was so excited to use this. I thought it was just a really great win-win. But, we've got plenty of fabric. All right, but I would recommend you use a fabric that's good on both sides, because if you notice kind of at the bottom, you're going to see the inside, it kind of the way it hangs. The other thing I would really encourage you to do is make this yours. I'm going to tell you some things to consider, but there's so many fun ways to do this, you guys, that it's just fun. What you want to remember is to keep the top somewhat fitted, which is why I'm using 600, and then go full at the bottom. If you go big and big, it'll just look like just big, just too big. And so it's really important to pair it with leggings, or I've even seen some that were long enough they didn't wear anything underneath. So that's your call also. However, those are just things to consider. Fabric, you want to be double-sided so that you like both sides. And then the length, or pairing it with a pair of leggings, something very straight and lean to offset the fullness of the top itself. All right, so let's start the pattern then. We've got fabric, let's start with the pattern. And because I've just done so much lately, my head is full of numbers. So I'll make sure these numbers are right using a tape measure. I start with the back. And when you do the back, you're going to double the back. So I took my back out, I drew it out, and made a whole double back. This would be, I'm going to tell you on the side it is. It would be on the left side. I lengthened the length of the back to 22 inches. I shortened the right side to 6 inches. And then, I just connected those. Now, it doesn't matter how you do it. I went 12 inches out and I went a little bit of an angle. It's all design. And then to connect those two would be about 20 inches. So down 22, down 6, and this is just as you're looking at it. This would be my back. Down 22, down 6, out 12, and then to connect is 20. If you have this 6, and if you angle this down at 12 and make 20 to connect them, you'll get about the right part. All right, that's the back, easy enough. And you're gonna cut that as one. Don't try to cut it on fold because it's asymmetric. Cut it as one. All right, then with the front, you'll wanna do 2 of those. And this one, again, is only 6 inches long because it's gonna meet. And that is going to be the short side, which is the right side. And then the longer side, I left the length it was. You don't want it to match the back, because what you'll see on this longer side is that they don't match. They're asymmetric at the bottom and one side is longer. So you don't want that to match. All right, so once you've got those two, remember one is 6, one is 13. And then what I did is I drew a straight line in between, a straight angled line. So this actually gets cut off by about that much. And that's the front right here, where you can see that it's going from the short side to the longer side, just a straight angle. All right, then you're going to take one piece, and what I did is I made it 43 inches long, and I made it 15 inches wide. The width is totally your call, you guys, completely your call. You know, I'm taller, so I made it 15. If you're shorter, there was no proportions that I was doing. I just made it 15. There might have been. If you really start to think, I just made it 15. I did use the bottom as a selvage because I wanted this to just be whimsical and no finish and have a selvage. So this piece is 43. One more pattern change with the sleeve. I took 4 inches off the bottom because I knew I was just going to roll it up. I didn't want any intention of it being the full length. And then I narrowed it a little bit at the bottom so that when I rolled it up, it wouldn't be really sloppy. So I took 1 inch off each side of the sleeve. So 1 inch off the side, shortened it 4 inches, and that did perfect there. Okay, so now we talk, that's our pattern. Just go over it and over it until you get it because I've said everything. No other changes. The front facing, when you go to put it on, and the collar, I just did the outside dark just to give it a little bit of contrast. And I did the front facing, as you can see on the bias. I didn't want anything even. If you'll notice, even my buttonholes are not spaced evenly. That was all purposeful, just because I thought it's just such a different blouse shirt, whatever. I just wanted it to all be different. All right, so then on your sewing, you're going to follow your normal blouse. So I did my darts, I did my front facing, I did my shoulder seams, I did my collar, just like it is in the pattern. I attached the collar. I set in the sleeve on the short side. And the reason I did it on the short side is because once you sew that side seam on the short side, that's when you sew this piece on. And this piece is going to start at the back. It's going to sew up to the short side. It's going to angle and turn over to the other side. So that's all. It's just connected right through there. If you're not exactly sure of the length of this, just cut it a little longer. You can always cut it off. So right there, it pivots and changes directions, and you can see that's right there. That's what's kind of causing that flare there. It comes up this side, changes directions, and goes down to the back. This portion of the back, this portion right here, nothing is sewn to that. Nothing is sewn to that. It's just left blank, and it's just at the back. The piece that you're adding goes from here and goes to across the front. That's it. It's so simple. It's just really fun and really easy to make. Obviously, I didn't do any vertical darts, front or back. I left them open. You know, and then what I did is I set in that sleeve and did that side seam. And when you do that last side seam, nothing's going to match at the bottom. It's all asymmetric again. And I just love it. I mean, I just really, really like it. So again, the selvage was down here is what I did. So I finished this hem. And so when I started sewing it, this was all finished. What's not finished is like the bottom of this blouse. So it's this portion right here. And I serged it. And I just serged it and left it. Because when I sewed this border piece, kind of, I'm going to call it the bottom, when I sewed it to the top, I did the serge seam to the outside. Because you're going from really straight to bias, even though this is cut straight, it's not cut on the bias, but by the time you sew it, that's what's going to make it look bias, and that's what's going to make it have that little extra there. I wanted something to break the eye. I didn't want it to just go from fabric to fabric, so I put the serge seam on the outside, and I like that. So just all of those details, though, were just kind of thought as I was doing it. So as you're going along, just think about that and do whatever you want to do. It's just like I said, make this shirt yours. I rolled up the sleeves a couple times, again, because I love 3/4 sleeves. You all know that. On the collar, again, I can't remember if I said it, I used the denim. And I used that on the under collar, but I really liked it just to have almost like it looked more like a guy's shirt. So it's just fun and easy, all right? So when this gets sewn on, it goes up the back, it turns angles, goes back down the other side. That's the only thing I'm worried about you won't remember. All the numbers are there. Have fun. It's a pretty big style event right now, you guys. So if you can handle being really comfortable and really cool in this hot, hot summer, do a big shirt. Happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns.